And our CDC at this point, anything they put out, you just assume at this point that it's not worth the paper that it's printed on. And so it's not serving a useful function. It's really serving to advance narratives rather than do evidence-based medicine. And
that's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is obviously saying that the CDC is essentially a piece of junk, that it doesn't do anything that's worthwhile for the United States of America, and we should just either get rid of it, or he may actually have a better idea. Rather than getting rid of the CDC altogether, and of course, what he's really doing is saying that he wants to get rid of Dr. Fauci and anybody who's ever been associated with Dr. Fauci. And he's obviously criticizing a narrative while playing to a narrative. Now, let me be clear about this. I'm a journalist. I think every government agency, including the CDC, should be questioned. And we should have healthy debates about whether the policies that are established by the CDC are actually good and are effective and are working. And if that's what he were suggesting, I'd be all for him. I'd say, yay, way to go, Governor DeSantis. This is exactly what we need to do in America. In fact, I wish he would say that with other agencies, like the ones that are getting us into wars for 20 years, which he doesn't seem to care about. And the ones in Wall Street who are robbing us frickin' blind, but he doesn't seem to have any problems with those goes. So what's he attacking, right? He's attacking the CDC. It's the Fauci narrative. And here's my problem with that. It's a government agency. And I think it's important to show respect for a government agency, whether you like it or not. Be critical. Be critical of any government agency. But to tell the American people that it's essentially a piece of crap, I don't think that's good, because every time we diminish institutions in this country, the way that the governor is here, what we do is we lessen the country itself, especially when you come up with a solution in this case, which is, I got something better. That's what he's saying. I got something better. Here it is.
So other governors and I have talked about the need to have a panel of experts who can counteract nonsense when it's coming out of these institutions, that are not going to just go along with the flow and follow pre-cooked narratives, but will actually do evidence-based analysis. And so in Florida, we're creating what we're calling the Public Health Integrity Committee. It's a committee of expert researchers that will be able to assess recommendations and guidance related to public health and healthcare, but particularly being able to offer critical assessments of things that bureaucracies like the FDA, CDC, and NIH are doing.
So the CDC is a bureaucracy, but when he sets up a committee of other people in Florida, that's not a bureaucracy. What's the difference? What's the difference? And here's another question that I've been a journalist all my life, so I got to ask the question. So, Governor, these people that you're appointing because you think they're better, why and how are they better? And what's their position? And do they have an axe to grind? And are you actually setting up a committee of people because they agree with you so that they can then disagree with the guy you disagree with? You see, this whole thing gets really nasty. And here's something else that we have to consider when we hear this conversation. What's next? Oh, so a governor in, I don't know, Alabama, Florida, name your state. He doesn't like an agency, in this case, the CDC. I'll just create my own. How about the FBI? Maybe they indicted a friend of yours. You don't like that one either? Oh, I'm going to bypass the FBI in the United States. A friend of mine was indicted. I'm going to create my own little FBI. And they're going to oversee the FBI of the United States, says the governor of Wyoming. I don't know. What about customs and immigration? I'm going to, from now on, decide who gets to come into the United States or not, because I don't like that agency. So I'm going to set up my own agency. And by the way, how about the courts? Screw the courts. The courts make decisions. I don't like it. A friend of mine was just found guilty. I say that court is a kangaroo court, and they were going after my friend because I'm a Republican. He's a Republican. So what? You know what? Let's get rid of that too. And I'm going to set up my own court to review whatever decisions any federal court decisions hand down. You see where this is going? Not a good place. Start getting rid of all the institutions. Start getting rid of all the agencies. Start putting it in the hands of a couple of people who may have an extra grind. I'm not saying he does. What I'm saying is what he's doing, that's not healthy. Not healthy for the United States. If he were questioning, yes. Replacing? What do you think? I'm Rick Sanchez. I do something called the Rick Sanchez Podcast. It's great to be here talking to you right now here on Rebel HQ and, of course, on TYT. I'll be looking for you on the Rick Sanchez Podcast. It's on aguamedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.